Welcome back. This is the finale for Giving Tuesday live at the Boyce Thompson Institute. We've been on the air since 9:30 a.m. and we are coming to a close with one final interview. I just want to thank everyone that has supported BTI today. We've seen some gifts sprinkle in throughout the day. Maybe you were going to write that check anyway, or maybe this live stream inspired you. Either way, we're appreciative of your support, and I think you're going to appreciate our next guest and what we're going to talk about in terms of engaging the next generation of scientists, why that's important, and how you can help support those efforts. So with that, I turn to Delanie Sickler, who is our education and outreach expert here at the Boyce Thompson Institute. Delanie, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Keith.
So tell us a little bit first about your journey to get to BTI, kind of where you're coming from before BTI, and then we'll talk about your current role here.
Sure. So I was a marketing major at Penn State, and I worked as a buyer for a while in Pittsburgh, and then I moved up to this region and worked at a museum. So there was a lot of engagement with the community when I worked for a museum in Corning. And now I'm working here in this wonderful position as the Education and Outreach Manager, where I get to work on programs like our Internship Program, which is an awesome experience every summer when we bring students here to do hands-on research with the Institute and with scientists here. And I also do community outreach and work with scientists in this building to take their message and their research out into the community. We also send out teacher kits to classrooms all over the country so that grades 9 through 12 can experience hands-on science, and they have a kit that they can do, the teachers have a kit that they can do with their classroom.
So you mentioned the internship program, which I think we're just coming off the 17th year?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So It's been going a while.
It has.
And some people may be familiar with internships in general, internships they've done. I think this one is particularly unique in what it offers. So tell us a little bit about what the experience is like and how many people apply for this and how many actually get accepted.
So we have undergraduates who attend for the summer, and we have high school students. So if I'm talking about the high school students, they're typically local or within a daily commute to BTI. They come for 7 weeks, and they work directly with a research mentor in a lab where they're doing a project each summer, and they are taking their project and then presenting it at the end of the summer. And so they're learning skills for becoming a future researcher and becoming a scientist, and they're learning about what it's like to have a 40-hour-a-week job and just experience research, real research. This isn't like someone is doing it for them. They're actually participating. And
they're not fetching coffee for scientists.
They're not. They're not. They have their own project, and they're in there. And then we also simultaneously have an undergraduate internship, and this is been funded by the NSF and the USDA, and that provides an opportunity for students from all across the country to come here and experience what it's like to do plant science at an R1 institute. And so we have researchers and labs at Cornell and at BTI that take these students in for the summer for 10 weeks, and it's the same type of thing. They're not fetching coffee. They're not running errands or doing work that the scientists don't necessarily want to do. They have their own set project, and they have 10 weeks to do it, and then they present it at the end of the summer in our annual symposium. And so these students are coming from maybe smaller schools that wouldn't have this type of research potential or the types of tools and facilities that Cornell and BTI has. These are students who might be first-generation college students or might identify as traditionally non-represented students in the sciences. And so this is a way that we can bring them here and have them experience what it would be like to continue a career in research.
And it's really impressive that there's enough support for this program where these students they're housed, they're fed, and they get a stipend, and they're not at all, essentially they don't have to worry about any expenses
for
themselves.
The point. Yes. Yes, the point is that they're here to do research, and they're here to learn from the wonderful mentors that we have here at BTI and Cornell. A lot of graduate students and postdocs and research associates take on the role of like the student's mentor for the summer,
Yeah.
and so it is a lot of work for the labs, but it's so appreciated by our interns, and it just supports their future career in science.
So I think the word is kind of out on this opportunity because you get what, over 300?
600 last
600?
year.
600 applicants last
Yeah.
year. And how many get picked?
We have about almost 6% acceptance rate.
Okay.
So it's a very competitive program. We wish that we could bring in more students, but this year we're looking to bring in about 22 undergraduate students and
Okay.
about 6 to 7 high school students.
I
But the
always,
application is open, so if you know anyone.
there you go. Go to the BTI website,
Yeah.
intern application portal. Should be able to find it fairly easily. If you can't, that's my fault with the website, not Delanie's fault. Email me. I always find it a really fun time when the interns come for the summer because it's kind of like this injection of energy
Yeah.
into the institute. You have these 22, 25 undergraduate students who are really eager to get their hands on this science, and you kind of get reminded to a degree of kind of why all this is happening
Yeah.
to begin with, and who we hope to kind of work up the pyramid to get here
Yeah.
and to be the future scientists. And I've had the pleasure of actually interviewing them through our podcast. And these are, just so everyone knows, these are the types of students that when people out there like to get on like the millennials and like make stereotypical comments about the younger generation, like these are the kids that just blow holes in any of those theories because they are so
right.
put together and they are so focused and professional and
Passionate.
brilliant and passionate and all these things. And they're the kind of kids that young adults that make me sit back and be like, wow, what did I do with my life? You know, like they're here for 10 weeks during the summer grinding it out
Yeah.
in a real research project. And it's just really impressive.
It is.
It's a really impressive program.
It gives you a lot of hope in the future.
It does, yeah.
That there's that many students who are interested in doing something like this.
So not only is it a good experience, but you recently looked at a lot of data that I would argue proves that it's really paying off for these students, and it's accomplishing the goals of putting more students into kind of STEM graduate degrees and STEM professions. Talk a little bit about what you
Sure.
found in looking at the history of the intern research.
Yeah, so we went back about 14 years in data and looked at the past, we call them RAU alumni students. And while we were able to find 90% of them, of those 90%, which is about 180 students over the past 14 years, 80% of them went on to graduate school, which is very impressive, and 70% of them are currently employed in some type of STEM field at the moment. And so we're talking about associate and assistant professors at both big and small schools. There's many that are postdocs. There's many that have gone on to work for the government or the State Department. We have students who have started their own businesses. We have students that are working for Bayer and Genentech and Corteva. We have just a wide variety of careers that these alumni have gone into, and it's just exciting to see the results. And it's exciting to know that maybe, or think that maybe this internship helped prepare them for graduate school and helped prepare them for what they're doing now.
Well, I was going to say you put a tremendous amount of time and energy into this program yourself, so it must feel pretty good to see that students are moving on and it's really made a big difference in their career. And I think at least 2 summer intern alumni are now back here at BTI that I know of. You have,
At least, I think there's more than 2.
Is there more than 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes they come home.
Yeah, they do. They do, which is nice.
Yeah. So aside from the internship program, another kind of objective you are tasked with is kind of getting BTI science out into the broader community, locally, maybe even beyond. But what has that been like for you? What has that effort been like, and kind of why do you think it's important for BTI research to be kind of in the public purview?
Well, if anyone has been watching today, heard some really exciting research that's happening here at BTI. And I mean, everyone eats food. Everyone cares about food. It's something that
important.
it is up there on the importance level. And so as a community in Ithaca and the regional community, it's important to know what is happening in this building. It's exciting stuff. It is important stuff. And as we look to the future, there are a lot of big problems with global warming, climate change, food security, and we need people working on this research, and we need to learn as much as we can about the food that we're consuming and ways to improve yield and grow better organic, grow better ground cherries, learn
Right.
more, all we can from food. And so sharing this with the community is really important. And one way that those who are listening, who are in the local Ithaca community, can learn a little bit more about
So this is
the research.
This is us doing the late night talk show thing where we put down a little pamphlet or a paper, and
And Mike
Mike
zooms in.
zooms in on it. This is how they do it in the big leagues. So tell us a
Yeah.
little bit more about this
Sure.
event.
So on December 5th, you are all invited to attend a very special night for adults at the Ithaca Science Center. The Ithaca Science Center currently has an exhibition called Wicked Plants, and they are, closing the museum just for this adult program where we'll have 7 of our BTI labs represented, and they will have little pieces of ways to engage with the general public in a casual manner. So there'll be plants, or there live plants to touch. There might be some insects to look at, some microscopes, but no presentations, nothing too crazy, just very low-key engagement about the research and about plants. And it fits in really nicely with the exhibition that everyone should check out. Wicked Plants is really, really a great exhibition. And so this is happening December 5th from 6:30 to 8:30. General admission will apply unless you're a member, and then it's free. And there will be a cash bar, but free food. And the rest of the museum will also be open, so it's a wonderful opportunity to experience the Science Center with, adults, 18 and plus.
So if you've ever been to the Science Center and you're chasing around your children like I frequently do as a member, so I'll be getting in for free. That's exciting. Is that what you said, right? Members are in for free?
Yes,
Okay.
members are free.
And you've been chasing your kids around through all the other kids, and you've said, wow, I could really use a glass of wine right now. Now is your chance to have
This
a
is the
glass of
chance.
wine in the Science Center. So that's very,
This is your
what an
chance.
opportunity.
Yes.
So I mentioned wine because we started our first interview this morning talking about wine, so I wanted to bring it back full circle for whatever that matters. So that's a great looking event. We also did another event at a member night at the Science Center back in September. What was that experience like?
So we had Fei Wei Li present for the opening member night for this Wicked Plants exhibition, and it went over very well. You could speak to it too. Did you brought your kids? Or no?
Yeah, it was a very good time, and I think it's really exciting when you see young minds engaging with research, because for so long, at least in my opinion, and maybe you can speak to what you find in working with the younger generations, but for so long there's just kind of been this stereotypical image of what science is, what a scientist is, what a scientist looks like, and now we are in this time finally where we're really trying to break a lot of barriers and change kind of how we identify a scientist, what a scientist is, and what a scientist can be, and who can be a scientist. So it's great to see, to see kids realize that this isn't some, profession that's way above them, or it's not attainable, or even if the reputation of science is maybe being boring, you can abolish all of that by giving them some time with some of these engaging researchers that we have.
And someone like Fei Wei Li, who brings in ferns and lets kids interact with them and put their finger in fern spores. I mean, how else do you
That's
break?
the dream.
That's the dream, right? That's the dream.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
So along those lines, when you think about this push to get more of the younger generation involved in STEM programs and to push them to pursue degrees in STEM fields, what are some of the major obstacles that you think are facing that objective?
So I think there's a lot of obstacles, but the ones that definitely come to mind are we need to do a better job with our mentor programs, both at undergraduate and graduate levels, so that individuals can understand options beyond just going into academia. We need to help students learn from professionals who work in all different fields of plant science and of STEM. That's, I think, one way we can help with break down barriers, especially with women and underrepresented minorities who might not see themselves when they look into a classroom and look into a research lab. We need to do a better job creating opportunities for more mentors to get involved with students. And then I also think just creating some type of understanding of what those careers after you obtain a PhD look like. We know of a few that you can work in an academic institution and become a faculty member, or you can work in industry. We talk about that. Science communications is important, and tech transfer. So, you identified some of those careers even today with the interviews. But what does that pathway look like for students, and how can they prepare for the skills that they need if they're not taking the, traditional pathway to just become a faculty member or a professor? So just creating an understanding for students as undergraduates on what those career opportunities look like, I think will be more encouraging as they think about going and pursuing a master's degree or a PhD. And then lastly, it's really funding. We just need to get more money for programs to better prepare students, whether that be research opportunities in K through 12 or research opportunities as an undergraduate. Students need to have that hands-on opportunity, and they need to see what it's like to work in a lab, or they need to see what it's like to engage with STEM, and just see what the potential could be, and develop their passions. So funding would also be I think that's the biggest barrier to success.
Yeah, and a lot of times I think, young kids don't even really understand that there's a science angle to what they might not even see that there's a science angle to their passion.
Or their curiosity.
But there is. My 7-year-old thinks he wants to be a professional video game player, whatever that is. I guess that's that could be a thing. But I tell him it's not. But I said, he's 7, so I try not to be too hard on him, But I do say, if you love video games, why not think about how they're made? The thought and technical skills that go into how they're made. And he's a 7-year-old, so he's just looking blankly at me. But, that's kind of the idea, I think, is that if you can somehow get their hands dirty with this stuff, whether it's taking them to the Science Center, not on the adult night, that's 18 and over.
Not on December 5th at 6:30.
But any other day that the Science Center is open, and you take them there and they come up against, these the new, the new kind of image we have for scientists, and they're engaging with these people. I think it really does make a big difference.
Yeah.
Well, Delanie, thank you very much
for
coming on and sharing the work you've been doing. It's all very impressive work, and making huge strides, as you can tell with the data you've collected, in terms of making sure we're developing that pipeline of scientists, which is really important. And not only the pipeline of scientists, but changing how scientists look, making sure there's everyone realizes that it is represented, and it's a big undertaking. It sounds, I think it's good that we've reached a point where it's kind of a no-brainer that yes, we need that to happen, but there's a lot of work that goes into making that happen.
And there's a lot of work still to be done.
Right.
I mean, I think we think about making the field of science represent what the demographics of our country look like, and we're not doing it just for the sake of doing it, to make sure that the percentages match. We're doing it because we know that teams that are diverse are more creative, and they add perspective, and they're better for the scientific enterprise. Diversity makes a difference in science, and I think that's why we should be pushing these initiatives, and that's why we should be getting all types of kids engaged, and hopefully we can look to the future and assign in STEM fields that are more inclusive and more diverse when your son is deciding whether he wants to go to graduate school to study.
Or play video games.
Video games.
We're gonna hope for graduate school.
Or virtual reality.
And just, you mentioned funding. There are, especially some local organizations that are stepping up to support these types of programs. I don't know if you want to mention any of the support you're receiving so far.
Yes. So for our high school program, we our 100% of the program is funded through generous local donations. And so our big supporters of that program include the Ithaca Garden Club, Rionics, and we also have Tompkins Trust is a supporter, and there are more. The Carolyn Sampson Fund, and there's one more. And I'm blanking.
It's okay.
It's okay. Sorry. Okay. But anyway.
If we left you off, we're sorry. It's all on the website.
It's all on the website.
They're all on the website. But that's just, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but that's just to show that there is, in the local community, there is a lot of local support.
There is,
for the internship programs. And so there are a lot of people kind of stepping up to offer the kind of support we're talking about here. And that's a perfect way to end Giving Tuesday live here at the Boyce Thompson Institute. Day of nationwide philanthropy, and an opportunity for us to kind of show you a lot of what we do here at the Boyce Thompson Institute and who the faces are that are doing the research and the work behind the scenes to create these discoveries that we talk about all the time throughout the year in support of environment, agriculture, and human health. So thank you all for tuning in, those of you that tuned in, or if you could be watching retroactively now, who knows. But thank you so much, and if you want to learn more about BTI and how you can support BTI, it's btiscience.org/give. Still about 8+ hours left in Giving Tuesday. So it's not too late to show your support for scientific research and for a number of the programs that you've heard about today, including Delanie's. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you another time here on our website and Facebook channel. Oh, and thank you. Don't cut us off yet, Mike. I want to say thank you to Michael Carroll, who's been sitting behind the camera, making everything appear on the screen. This is the easy part. I just talk to people. So thank you, Mike Carroll, and thank you to Mike's mom, who I know has been watching throughout the whole day. She is one of our most devout social media fans. So thank you so much to her, and your son is making you proud. I'll tell you that much. So thank you very much, everybody, and for all the people. Make sure to cut me off now. Thanks to all the people at BTI that came on today and have supported this broadcast. Oh, and I also want to do one more shout out. I think I mentioned it in a previous Facebook post, but what we're able to do here in terms of this broadcast was really made possible by a really generous donation from Ron and Shelley Cooper, who put up the money so that we could go out and buy this communications equipment. And since then, we've been able to produce a lot of wonderful broadcasts like this, like a live stream that we did just a couple weeks ago for our symposium for our cluster hire that David Stern mentioned, a whole bunch of different seminars we've been able to bring live to audiences all around the globe. And we talked about funding, and that's not possible without support to put money in our budget to buy a whole bunch of expensive production equipment and make all these pieces work together so that we can come to you no matter where you are. So thank you very much to the Cooper family, and again, thank you to all the generosity that surrounded this day. We will be gone until our next live broadcast, which is yet to be determined, but it'll be soon, so keep an eye out.